Hey mates, and welcome to MtMtE. I'm your host, Blind Prime, and for today we're going to be talking about McAdam from McAdam's Oil House, aka Alchemist Prime. Now, this is a transformer that I don't really have a lot of information on, personally. I've had to look him up on the wiki and stuff like that, but overall, I never watched Transformers Prime. I didn't read the IDW comics, so a lot about this guy is a mystery. Now, everybody's heard, Prima and Solus Prime and Megatronus and their whole story, but it's like, good luck finding information about Alchemist Prime. That they just didn't really cover this guy much, other than him being McAdam from McAdam's Oil House. And, I mean, that's really cool. I like the fact we get a bar keep as our Transformer, though I do have to say, I wish he was a Titan class, because he's missing his most important accessory. And that's McAdam's bar. They could have made him a Titan class and given us a bar for our chug scale Transformers. And I think that would have been awesome. And that is something that they can do with Titan scale that I wish they would. Give us a cool playset with a smaller Transformer. Like McAdam's Oil House. That would have been an excellent, excellent thing. But that's something I do want to see in Transformers in the future. If they're trying to figure out all this Titan class stuff. I'm like, guys, you can just add a really cool playset or something like that. Like, you make Grapple a Titan class and you bring in his tower that he makes with the help of the Constructicons and Hoist. So, was that Hoist? Yeah, it was Hoist. So there's a lot you can do with that. And focusing just on giant Transformers, in my opinion, is the wrong move, because there's more out there than just large Transformers. There's also, scenes and things like that you can do. Like, wouldn't it be cool if we got, maybe a Commander scale hot rod that came with a little pond and a rock and a fishing pole? I think that would have been neat. And it's just one of those things that I wish Hasbro would do. I really do, because it's just cool. I like playsets. I like things that combine together to create bigger things. That's why I love combiners. They combine together to create bigger things. Ask me my favorite giant robot and I'll tell you. It's the mechanized Voltron. The vehicle Voltron, which I've always wanted. Anybody out there wants to make Blind Prime a happy person. There's a $500 vehicle Voltron on Amazon that I desperately want. Oh, but I'll have to get to that one day and hopefully be able to figure out a way to buy it, because that is just too cool. I like the giant combining robots, and I also like combining play sets. That's why I'm very happy with, and we're going to talk on it, because I do have some mixed feelings about that giant playset, the Cobra Modular Fortress, that we did a box opening for yesterday. On Friday, we will be covering it in-depth for an in-depth review. I'm going to build a little playset here on my Wii Fit stage, and we're going to showcase a really cool product, in my opinion. I think it's neat, and it's opening the doors for a lot of cool things, and I hope that Transformers gets on board with that type of stuff, because those panels that can pull apart, they can work well for Transformers. I think that they can make some excellent Cybertronian buildings and things like that. So please, Evan and Mark from the Transformers team, pick up the phone and call Lenny. Say you want to work with him in getting that Cobra Modular Fortress turned into something Transformers based. Put some gold spray paint on it and call it Cybertron. I don't know. And I just want to see it happen. I think that would be amazing, and I'm excited for the future when it comes to play sets, because I think they got something there with the G.I. Joe classified line, and the other Hasbro toy lines really need to communicate with those people and get those play sets into your own lines. Marvel Legends could do it very well. Those walls and ceiling panels, you could make all sorts of structures from Marvel history. And with Transformers, they'll work just as well. And you can make all sorts of fun structures from Transformers history. There's a lot to do with that. And I hope that they open the doors in that direction now, because I all I see for that is possibilities, and for Hasbro, profit. So That's my theory on those fun things. So let's get into reviewing this Transformer now. After all is said and done, this guy's gonna be awesome, and I'm excited to bring him to you. There's a couple of things through the week we'll talk about with him. Definitely on tomorrow's video during his transformation, because there are some sticky parts, and we'll discuss that. But for today, we're just going to cover the robot mode. So first and foremost, let's bring out the handy-dandy Lego pad, and let's see how he compares to other Transformers. There we go, and we're going to slip you to the front. There it is, and boom, right there. And that is 17, 18 studs tall. Not too short, but not too tall either. He is a decent little mix. All right. Seems like he's going to fit in pretty well with the others. So let's get our size comparisons out of the way. We've got Solus Prime here, the other deluxe class. And Solus Prime, you're going to have to move that sword over there. You move your... Yeah. Raise your arms out like you're going to give Alchemist Prime a big ol' hug. And let's see, Alchemist Prime is actually just a bit shorter than you at the head. Shoulder-wise, let's see. Lower your arms. Let's see if the shoulders are on the same scale, or is Solus Prime shoulders. Yeah, Solus Prime shoulders feel like they're just slightly taller than Alchemist Prime shoulders. Alchemist Prime is kind of a shorter guy, and he's a beefier guy. He definitely wins on the width scale. He's wider than Solus Prime. Weight-wise, Solus Prime and him are almost the same weight, so that's awesome. Good job with that one, guys. All right, next size class up. Hey, Solus Prime, stands up straight, please. Thank you. Next size up is Prima. Here we go, Prima and... Prima, get your sword out of the way. We don't need no Star Saber messing things up. Okay, here we go. Prima in him. He stands, the top of his head can go to just below the collarbone for Prima, but he is still wider than Prima. Weight-wise, Prima's a little heavier, but it's almost equal. And finally, well, not finally, there's one more to compare. Here is Megatronus. We've just talked about last week with Megatron, and Megatronus compared to, yeah, no, that size comparison's just ridiculous. Megatronus stands almost an entire Alchemist Prime taller. He is, well, I guess he's half an Alchemist Prime taller. And shoulder-wise, let's put them back to back, and they actually have about the same width on the shoulders, so they're pretty good. Though Megatronus is definitely the winner of the weight. And the final size comparison, since we're doing primes, and I always like to compare primes to primes. Here we go with the big guy. Up and around. Oh man, this guy is huge. Okay, and there we go. All right. Now let's see. How does he compare? Well, he compares... It's like a little toddler running around. Can't even get to the knee. He can't even get to the knee. He's small. He's shorter than this guy's knees. That's wild. Look at that. That is insane. Width-wise, the Star Convoy's got it on Alchemist Prime. Star Convoy definitely wins in the width. I think Alchemist Prime is a little wider than one of Star Convoy's legs, but not by much. Let's put Star Convoy back. Don't put him on a gun. There we go. All right. Star Convoy is put away, and I refuse to call him Star Optimus Prime. That's just too many words. Star Convoy works in my opinion. I like Star Convoy. That works for the 13th Prime. Since according to G1 lore, it was I keep the name has left me. He's got the three little beards going down, and he's the old guy, and he turned all right, never mind. I'm obviously blanking on all the names today for some reason. Good grief. Oh, but Optimus Prime was called Optimus Prime in front of the aerial bots, so don't call him Star Optimus Prime. If he's going to be one of the 13 primes, he should just be like Star Optimal or something like that. I think that would have been a cooler name. Anyway, we're blathering on about stuff that is an alchemist. So let's get into the alchemist now. We'll talk about his accessories first. I put one on each of his shoulders. He comes with these weird things that can combine together. And I honestly, I just don't know what these are for. I have been trying to figure it out for a while. It's supposed to be some sort of like glasses or something. So you put these guys together, and then somehow it fits on his face, but I'm not sure. I don't know how this is supposed to work. So anyway, he's got these two things that fit together and create something. That's for sure. But what do they make? I'm not actually positive on that. But I kept trying to find a way to like add this to him whenever they're combined together, because I was thinking maybe they're supposed to be like big glasses or something, but it just isn't working. So I don't know what these guys are supposed to do. I really don't. But there's two of them. They combine together. They're almost mirrors of each other, except for the combination part. But they're like this half sphere kind of thing, or dome, and it's got these little edges around it. There's like a circle bit that has a port underneath it, and there's a little gun on one. Each of them becomes a gun, but they also do other things, and I've been trying to figure it out, and I'm at a loss of what in the world these things can do. It does have two. It's got a siege port and a peg on the undersides. So we got a peg on this little circle thing off to the side, and then we got a port. They're definitely weird weapons. That is for sure. What did I just knock over? Oh. Alchemist Prime. Not Alchemist Prime. Solus. Why are you always falling? Okay, so there's the accessories. Now let's get into talking about this guy in depth. Let's hurry it up. First and foremost, there's waffling. Underneath, there's a lot of hollowness, negative zones for his feet. Oh, his feet are just terrible with it. It's so deep. There's these two siege ports, but these feet are just obscene. I don't like how there's nothing there. They could have given us something to cover that up, or at least given us waffling. But these giant hollow sections are really weird and definitely not the best. Now to the top of the feet, we've got some excellent sculpting. It feels like they're boots, like bitty boots. There's some. They're pretty neat little things, but you know what it kind of reminds me of? It reminds me of the compression shoes that they give old people at retirement homes, the compression socks and stuff. Kind of what I'm getting the impression of with this guy, for his feet. But they are nice. The other impression I get is, high-grade work boots. It's just there's not a lot of textures going on. We've got a couple of edges to it, but there's not really much texture to really give you ideas on what these boots could be. And they're just nice boots. Or socks, depending on how you look at it, or how you feel it. Now, the leg here has got some details in it that I appreciate. No vents, though. It makes me sad. I'm a big proprietor of vents, but we've got a little knee pad there. It's got a nice little cutout, like a kite shape. And then down here, we've got a little bit of a square area that's been etched in there. It's all right. We've got little armor panels etched in that towards where the foot is. The leg armor, flanges out a bit to cover the foot, so it's acting as kind of a parachute pants. Bell bottoms. He's wearing a pair of bell bottoms. That's what it feels like, because they spread out on either side of the foot. And you got the wheel for his vehicle mode over here on the side of his leg. And there is no siege port on the side of the leg, which is sad. I love those siege ports. I wish they would include more of them these days. And then we come over here to the thigh. Let's take a look at the thigh. How do they do this time? Minimalistic textures. Not much going on with the thigh. At least they put something there, but they did not put a lot. Though, because of the fact that they didn't really put a lot on the feet, the thigh and the feet feel like they match. So that's nice. At least his upper legs match his feet. That's pleasant stuff. Articulation-wise, of course, the foot can move backwards due to transformation. The foot can also turn sideways. The knee can pull a little more than a 90. The front kick can pull a 90. The back kick can pull a little more than a 90. The side kick can pull a 90. And then, of course, there is a thigh rotation. Yay, rotation. And a waist rotation. That's nice. We can spin it 360 without any problems because kibble doesn't get in the way either, which is another good thing. This guy has very low kibble, and I'm down for it because they managed to, like, meld the kibble in with the transformer, and that is... I'm always a lover of that. The groin itself, not really much going on down there with his groin. There's a couple of etchings, but not anything really big. Coming up here to his chest, we've got a big, thick, armored chest. That's what this feels like to me. It feels like a lot of layers of armor, and he's an alchemist, so it means he's messing with a lot of dangerous chemicals. He's mixing stuff together. Explosions could occur, so he's got extra armor on his chest to keep his spark safe from exploding experiments. I'd like to know how many bottles of alcohol exploded before he figured out how to get the right mix down for Transformers to consume. I wonder how long that took him. So his chest it's got like almost a vent going on where his abs would be, but not really. But it does make it for some nice little ab action going on there. It is a vent, but it's big and it's wide. And he's got little wheels, the edges of wheels sticking out on either side of his chest, which I just think is kind of adorable. So I like that aspect of him. I like that the wheels are just on the chest, but on either side. The other favorite transformation point of that is where the wheels fold over to create a chest plate. That is one of my favorites, and I like it when they do that. Now we're going to come over here to his back, and his back has got a spoiler kind of thing across the back, right behind his head. There's no siege peg back here, or siege port, and there's not really much more. There's a lot of transformation stuff going on below this panel. We got a few hinges in there, a couple of joints, but for the most part, that's his back. There's not really much happening there, and due to the way he looks, he's kind of crouched forwards because of the way his back works. So it gives him a little bit of a crease in his back. But then again, he's one of the oldest Transformers. Like he didn't be exiled or sent into the Well of Sparks or anything like that. This guy just kind of hung out on Cybertron for centuries. So I get the fact he's got a little bowl and he's got a bulge in his back. He's an old man. Now the arms themselves, we can pull a 90 at the shoulder, moving it up. Shoulder spins 360. We've got a single joint in the elbow that pulls a 90. And then, of course, the hands here, which are supposed to fold into the wrist, but they don't because it's stupid. I don't know why that's happening. It definitely is annoying, and that's something we're going to talk about in tomorrow's video. I don't know how to repair that for this guy, or if that's just something that's supposed to be for his transformation. So his arms aren't supposed to lock in. They're just supposed to kind of edge down a little bit. It's really weird that you can push it, and then it pops. It's neat. Okay, I don't want to break it, so I'm going to stop playing with that. He does have one siege port on the side of his arm, and then he's got one on the side of his shoulder. His arm is very minimalistic in textures. We got a few armor textures, but not really much. His shoulder, bigger on the textures. We've got some really edgy stuff going on here. He's got a thick shoulder. There's some lines. There's it just feels, this is also makes up a chunk of the vehicle mode whenever he's transformed. And you kind of get that this is some of the kibble from the vehicle mode, but it combines together to create a very nice shoulder. And then, of course, his hands are decent. Not really much going on there. I do wish we'd get more stuff happening with hands, but you know what? I'm okay with those. So, now finally, over to his head. And he's got an interesting one, because he's got these big Coke bottle glasses on his face. These are one on each side. He's got these huge glasses. And he's got a little nose there, and it feels like he's got a mouth below that. But I'm not exactly sure if he's got face shield or mouth. So, that is a explanation for Alchemist Prime here. I think that this is an excellent little robot mode. He's fat, he's chunky, you know, you can just kind of plop him down and he stands, which is always something I adore in any Transformer. If I can just drop you and you're just standing, that's awesome. I love that. That means it's a well-balanced Transformer, you know. I can try and do the same with Solus right here and drop her. Yeah, see how that works? She just doesn't do it. You know, she can't perform no. Maybe if I balanced her. really not giving her the benefit of the doubt here. Let's balance you up a bit. There we go. Okay, now no, okay. Oh well. Alchemist is definitely one of those Transformers that if you're trying to collect the 13, he is a must-have, but also I think he's just a fun, chunky dude. And tomorrow's video will talk about the transformation. But for my final grade on his robot mode, I think this robot mode works for an old Transformer that's been around since the dawn of Transformers time, who just wants to see people happy. He just wants to have, give people a place to relax, a safe place to chill, and escape from any war, escape from everything. He wants to give them a place where they can take a moment and recharge their batteries. And that's awesome. And that's why I like Alchemist Prime. So I'm going to give this robot mode an A-. I think this is just, he's a lot of fun. He's a lot of fun. But there's things like the hollowness in his feet and stuff that just kind of take away from him a bit. But for the most part, yeah, I mean, he only had 2 hollow sections in his wrists and in his feet. Everything else is a solid character all the way around. Even the back of the legs have solidness to them. He is one nice Transformer, and I am happy to have him in my collection. And this, of course, makes our 5th Prime. This means that we are almost halfway through the Primes. We've got 7 more Primes to go. No, we have 8 more Primes to go. 8 more Primes over 2025 and 2026. So, buckle up. We're not even halfway done. Thank you all so much for watching, and please tune in next Prime where I will teach you verbally how to transform Alchemist Prime from robot mode into vehicle mode. Thanks again to all of you out there. Please like, share, and subscribe. Until next Prime, bye-bye for now.